Hey folks, it's Sam, and I'm doing this video today about Pope Francis and serious health concern that we can be seeing now, especially as we're near this eclipse. I have a remarkable case study here to show you today. It's going to actually refer to ongoing updates I've been doing relative to the royal family, popes, and eclipses. And again, you'll be fascinated with this update. Sadly, that it comes as Pope Francis is having some serious health issues. But again, we can actually learn some things astrologically today. So we'll breach those subjects or approach those subjects with empathy, compassion, and learn something about astrology. So check it out. Please like the video. Clicking like helps a lot more than you know. It pushes the video higher in relevant video searches. Also, please leave a nice comment. Comments also help more than you know as it raises the video in searches. Many times with hundreds of likes, there are only a dozen comments and they can be disproportionately negative. So be positive. Let me know if you like this. Even just a few words really help. So subscribe, ring the bell to get notified of upcoming videos. Yes, please do that. And thanks for all the support that I've been getting lately with all the likes and subscribes and the enthusiasm, particularly as we've been building up to these eclipses. And, again, I started doing updates about this with the royal family because we had a big health scare. We still have it with King Charles and his cancer diagnosis. I did a video on February 5th. And since then, also with Kate Middleton and Prince William, and looking at how they've been so affected by eclipses, all of them were born on eclipses. And so was Mr. Pope Francis. As you can see, he was born December 17th, 1936. Look, right on the eclipse. Sun here, and the moon had just started to wax, but he was born right near the eclipse as well. So he's also an eclipse person. Popes and kings, as I've known for a long time, have this eclipse. Oh boy, what are we doing here? Have this eclipse cycle, impact in their life. So what I wanted to show here today, even just to start this presentation, was also video from February 5th, about a month ago. And I want to just show you this. Charles and Camilla were married. And that was a watershed event in the life of this young astrologer, younger at least. And it made me realize at the time that popes and kings were deeply connected to eclipses. So it made me understand and realize and get into researching the connection between royalty, popes, kings, and the royalty and the eclipses. So as you could see, I talked about that then. This was like a month ago on February 5th, changing screens here. And that, I had the stage here. Yeah. And so at that time, I was talking about the connection between the popes and the kings. And you could see here in this screen that I have that April 5th, if you go back and look, these are the dates. April 8th, 2005. This was when the funeral for the previous pope, for Pope John Paul II, his funeral happened April 8th, 2005. That's actually going to be the date of the eclipse, April 8th, 2024. 19 years later, this solar eclipse is happening. April 8th, 2005 was when Pope John Paul II was buried. April 9th, if you can't see this, April 9th was when King Charles and Queen Camilla were married. And as I said in that video, this was a real watershed event in my astrological life. This is when I started to realize that this connection between popes and kings and eclipses, because as I said, eclipses are when we have this sort of anomaly take place where these screens, where we're kind of snatched out of regular time. And that's who these popes and these kings are. Popes, kings, and that's what eclipses are, where all of our energy and life here on earth gets a bit eclipsed. You could see Pope John Paul II died April 2nd, 2005. He was buried April 8th, 2005. And then Charles and Camilla were married April 9th, 2005. And so, again, this is what got me into even understanding this connection between popes and kings. As you saw, February 5th, a month ago, or actually a month and a half ago, time is going quickly, I alluded to this, this principle. Well, because at the time I was teaching a class on eclipses, and popes and kings were part of it. And after I had just taught the weekend course, that's when we had King Charles Cancer case study. So right after that, I was like, I just taught a class on this, and here's the case studies. And so now we're seeing it even more. And again, of course, it's not just with Charles and Camilla, but it's also with Kate Middleton. We just had her, she just had the diagnosis as well, being diagnosed with cancer diagnosis. And so these things are very ripe now. And I did want to also let people know that again, here is the update if you haven't seen it yet with the Pope Francis diagnosis. Sorry, I sort of buried the lead in case you didn't know. He skipped the Palm Sunday services. I mean, he's 87 years old, right? This is not a young man. And as I said, the tradition is, again, as you see, Pope John Paul II was born. He was born on the eclipse as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. John Paul II was also born on an eclipse, sun, moon. He was born on a solar eclipse, just like Francis was born right after the solar eclipse. And John Paul II died on, right in between the solar and lunar eclipses. So where John Paul died, he died right in between sort of where we are now. Because if you see where we're at now in this eclipse cycle now, we're right now in between those two eclipses. Well, actually, we're having the lunar eclipse on March 24th and 25th, and then the solar eclipse on April 8th. You could see they're the exact same dates as 2005. Exact same dates, because the solar eclipse in 2005 was also April 8th. This was the day when this funeral took place, April 8th, and then April 9th is when they got married. So April 8th and 9th is when we had the solar eclipse in 2005. So again, I'm not saying that I think Francis is going to pass now, but this cycle is eerily similar to what happened in 2005. It's the same, what's called sorrow cycle. And we have Pope Francis now extremely sick on this, right on this lunar eclipse. And then the moon is going to keep going, and it's going to hit this same place when John Paul died, which was April 2nd. John Paul died April 2nd, 2005, right before the eclipse on April 8th or April 9th, depending on where you were in the world, in 2005. So again, very, very difficult transit. So again, right now we have the lunar nodes up here in this axis, and this full moon eclipse is happening right in John Paul II's 10th house. And look how both of them have Mars in the same place. You see how John Paul II also had Mars in Virgo at 29 degrees. And Pope Francis has Mars at 26 degrees. And again, his Mars is also getting this lunar eclipse right now. The lunar eclipse is hitting right on this point in Pope Francis' chart. And then the moon is going to keep going. And then when the moon goes into his first house, April 2nd, 3rd, April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, it's going to, or yeah, April 1st and 2nd or so, it's going to be right in his first house. This is exactly literally the moment John Paul II died. He died April 2nd, 2005. On April 1st and April 2nd, the moon is going to be right in right in Pope Francis' first house. And then it's going to go over his moon, Venus, Saturn. So this could be a very tricky couple weeks for Pope Francis. And again, I want to be clear that these aren't the kinds of things that I love to get on here and talk about, people perhaps transitioning into the next world. It's not really pleasant to talk about these things, because it's, these are human beings. And I want everyone to keep living. I want Pope Francis to continue. I want King Charles. I want Kate. I want all of them to flourish. But these are things where we can see astrology working. And particularly when someone like me said even a month and a half ago, popes, kings, eclipses, popes, kings, eclipses, royalty, eclipses. They're all born on eclipses. By the way, King Charles born right on the eclipse, in the eclipse cycle. Kate Middleton, born on the eclipse. Prince William, born on the eclipse. John Paul II, born on the eclipse. Pope Francis, born on the eclipse. This is not, died on the eclipse, John Paul II. This is not random. This is like not a coincidence. This is what eclipses are. And these people that come and sort of eclipse our life are shown. This is why the popes and kings are so powerful. And by the way, you can see up here, it says 5D Avatar full case study on popes and kings. If you want to get a full case study snatched from the full eclipse course that I taught, I'm going to be adding that to the 5D Avatar member level on March 26th. When you're seeing this, if it's after that, it will already have been added. You can join the channel by clicking the join button below this video and subscribe at the Oracle 5D Avatar level. That level is the full level where you get all of the member videos. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of member videos. You get all of these videos plus ongoing updates. If you join at the 5D Avatar level, it's actually for people that want to get many updates, many free classes. There are other levels of membership, but when you join at that 5D Avatar level, you're going to get this class on the full class on popes and kings. Beneath this video, you see there's a join button and a subscribe button. Of course, subscribe to the channel, but when you click join, you're going to get access to the fastest growing Vedic astrology community on YouTube. You can see daily forecast, weekly forecast, and a lot of special videos that the members get. Again, it's very easy. All you do is you click join beneath the video. Most people get the Oracle 5D Avatar level. It's less than $1 a day. You can stay connected. Tons of free videos that you get now, but also each week. Again, you can see all of the videos that you get where I do a Vedic forecast, a regular forecast, members only content. But again, it's very easy. Just click join and the pop-up comes. You select your level. Again, most people get the 5D Avatar. Less than $1 a day, you get access to daily forecast, monthly forecast based on your sign. People love it, and I bet you will too. Yeah, and particularly now, because one of the big perks now is this eclipse cycle that we're in. We're having the lunar eclipse right now, literally March 24th and 25th. You want to know what it means for your sign. Whatever sign you are, it's very different because it's happening in Virgo. But if you're, a Gemini like me, it's your 4th house. If you're Scorpio, it's your 11th house. This is a totally different focus for not just the lunar eclipse, but then the solar eclipse comes around. What does that mean for you? But not just that, every new moon and full moon, you get an update. So again, this is a way to stay connected. But so again, I wasn't planning on making a video today, but then I found out today with this sad news of Pope Francis and this eclipse and this serious health crisis and eclipse danger that I wanted to make a video because again, I just talked about this a month and a half ago when I mentioned my research into royalty, popes, kings, eclipses. And since then, it's been nothing but one story after the next of King Charles, Kate Middleton. Where's Kate? Where's Kate? Where's Kate? I've done several videos about what this really means for her. And I said that I wouldn't be surprised if she was dealing with something serious. And aside from dealing with something serious, the biggest story has been all the conspiracies and all this. This is seen by her chart. But again, it's not just, the reason it's affecting her so much is because she's also born on the eclipse. Like the royals, this sort of anomaly is really showing itself. But again, aside from that, what does it mean in your life? And what is the royal part of your life as well? So this is why even, getting the memberships and staying connected can be very helpful, because what we can learn about people like the popes and the royalty is these are people who were born near these inflection points. That's really what the eclipses are. They're these inflection points of cosmic and karmic energy, right? So they were born on or near those eclipses, but they still happen all the time. So again, this is why it's very important to know how they're going to affect you right now as well. We can see how they're affecting these people who were born on the eclipses. These wild things happen. By the way, the other big one, Donald Trump, the previous president. Look at all the things that are happening for him right now. March 25th, this is the day where he was supposed to stand trial tomorrow. All this judgment around all this money and all this other stuff. How he was also born on a lunar eclipse. So again, these eclipses are very much snatched out of regular time. But again, when I saw this show up for Pope Francis and this recurrence from 19 years ago, this is just too much. Like, you can't make this up. You really can't make this stuff up where someone, again, just look at this, look at the recurrence. Even the dates are exact. April 8th, 2005 was when the funeral happened for John Paul II. April 8th, 2024 is when we're having the solar eclipse. And then April 9th is the day that Charles and Camilla got married. And again, look at what's happened to King Charles. And by the way, in that video that excerpt that I played for you at the beginning, this is exactly what I talked about. I talked about how this is a dangerous time for King Charles because the last time this eclipse happened was when he got married. So this was why I mentioned it in the previous video, because I said this isn't just an eclipse. The last time this eclipse happened for King Charles is when he married Camilla, and it was right after John Paul II died. And that's what actually got me even noticing this connection between popes and kings, because after that, I went and researched it, and I found that like all the royals were born on eclipses, and almost all the popes born and died on eclipses. So this is what's called recurrence transit, which means when something comes back to what recurred before, what happened before, this shows an enormous, karmic cycle. It's a big energy of karma. So the last time we had this solar eclipse and by the way, this is not, we shouldn't expect that this isn't also shown. It's not a solar eclipse in Aries or Aquarius, it's Pisces. Pisces is literally the sign of Pope, the sign of the Pope. The Pope wears that hat that looks like a fish. It looks like two fishes. We're in the age of Pisces now. This whole thing about the age of Pisces, age of Aquarius, we're now in the age of Pisces, which is the age of religion. And the age of Pisces, even the hat of the Pope is shaped like two fish. So popes are connected to the sign Pisces. right? So this is real stuff. And so the last time this eclipse happened, almost to the day, we see right on this lunar eclipse, Pope Francis, the current pope, is too weak. And now again, this is homily. This is like before Easter. I mean, if Pope Francis is going to show up for anything, Palm Sunday, he's going to show up and do this. If he's not able to do this, he must be pretty sick. I have a feeling he's just, again, just like with Kate Middleton, we didn't see for a couple weeks. She didn't disclose how sick she was, that it was cancer and all this stuff. So it led to all this suspicion. Look, Pope Francis isn't going to come out and say, I'm really seriously ill. But he showed up and was supposed to read these notes, and then he just couldn't do it. And then they said, well, we'll just, meditate or something. But if anything, if he's going to show up for anything, it would be this. This is like Pope time. So again, he's getting this eclipse right in his 10th house. And again, it's his 10th house. When you look at his chart, this is his ascendant. So it's the Pope in it's the eclipse in his 10th house, the same house as it is for Prince William, because Prince William also, wait a sec. I'm sorry. It's not 10th house, it's 4th house. Excuse me. He has all these planets in Sagittarius, but it's his 4th house. He's a Gemini ascendant. Excuse me. If I've said that a few times, then I'm sorry. It's actually, he has the Gemini ascendant. So it's actually happening in his 4th house, right? But he has all these planets. Yeah, I said earlier that the moon was going to go through his ascendant. It's not. It's going to go through his 7th house. Excuse me. So his ascendant is Gemini, not Sagittarius. But anyway, it's still going over this Mars. For him, it's in his 4th house. For John Paul II, it was his 12th house, right? Because John Paul II had a Libra ascendant, so it was his 12th house. And for Francis, it's his 4th house. So again, this is without looking at dashas or anything like that, but it's going to go through here, and it's going to go through his 7th house, and then his 8th house. I'm saying the moon will keep going, and it's going to pass right over these eclipse points. Again, this Sun, Rahu, Jupiter, very karmic energy here, a very karmic, like big things changing and shifting. And he's an eclipse guy, born right after the solar eclipse. And this recurrence transit, the last time this transit happened, the Pope at the time passed away. And who was then Prince Charles at the time also had a major life shift and got married. So again, I signaled this February 5th with my update. I signaled all of these indicators, and now we're seeing them. I also just want to make something clear. Again, I said it at the beginning. It's not fun to talk about the fact that some of these people might be leaving the earth. It's not fun to talk about people. Someone has cancer. Yay. I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I feel it's very important, though, because we can learn from this. And, again, we can see the energy unfolding. But thoughts and prayers really for all beings who are suffering through illness and might be leaving the earth or having situations like this. Again, you can never lose sight of the fact that these are souls, incarnated beings. There could be suffering around these things. I'm glad to see astrology working. I'm not glad to report it in this regard. And I want to be clear about that, because we can't lose sight of the fact of like, goody, somebody's got cancer. Someone might die. Someone will. No. It's hard to. You can't take yourself out of that part of it, and always remember that. So I also want to be very clear that it's not. I'd like it to be other things, but this happens to be the way we see situations, and I report on other things as well. But this kind of stuff, when we see big shifts happen, and again, it could have been that one of them getting married or something. Again, the last time one pope died, and Prince Charles gets married. They happen like one after the next. The saddest day for Catholics, the happiest day for British royalty or whatever. There's no rhyme or reason to it. But they're really what are called transitions. And that's actually what eclipses are. They're transition points, inflection points. When the energies all align, everything comes together. Sun, moon, and earth, body, mind, spirit. All of that karma that's visible and invisible goes, it all kind of snaps into place. And all of us are influenced by it. Again, whether we know it or not. And we can see it with these royals. That's why I'm talking about it. But it's happening in your life as well. And again, this is why I also say you should know how this is influencing you. And again, when you get, like, when you become a member at the member site, I already did the video on what each of these, what this lunar eclipse in Virgo means for each of the 12 signs, including yours, and of course, the solar eclipse that's coming and whatnot. So these are very transitional times, and there's a lot of shifting and transitioning happening here. And there's a lot of comments here about different things, political and whatnot. And I appreciate the participation. I'll highlight this one. Chopraneni says, Om Shanti. Yes, indeed, Om Shanti. And so I agree as well. And Blue Lotus says, you're very respectful and reverent, Sam. Thank you. I want to make sure and keep that going as well, because it's not like, oh, yay, Pope Francis is sick. I could do a video and I talked about this. I see the thing and then I'm like, okay, I want to make sure to show this happening. And look, he's 87. He's lived a great life. He's been, I think, a great pope relative for what the Catholic Church is and whatnot. Very progressive. I think he was a Jesuit. You could see that Gemini spirit that he has. And so we'll just leave it at that. And again, I'd love if you did want to become a member. You can get the 5D Avatar full case study on popes and kings that I'll add March 26th. But then you also, I would hope people want to know how these eclipses are going to affect them. And you can also get that at I believe it's at the Pleiadian level. So you all have a great one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.